Welcome to the Dance Lens podcast. Today, we have a phenomenal guest, Ahmad Joudeh, who went from being born in a refugee camp in Syria to being a ballet dancer with Dutch National Ballet. He risked his life to become a dancer and is currently working with Golden State Ballet alongside with being an international activist for refugee rights and the arts. He's performed with cellist Yo-Yo Ma, celebrated dancer Roberto Bolle, Sting at the United Nations, at the World Economic Forum, and on Eurovision. And on November 8th, a documentary about his life and work will premiere at the San Francisco Dance Film Festival. We'll link all the information to the premiere of The Dancer in the show notes. Could you sum up how you actually went from a refugee camp to Dutch National Ballet?
So during the war in Syria, everything was falling apart, and I just wanted to keep dancing. And I could not afford to rent a studio or find a place to dance because we lost everything. Like our house was bombed, so on. So we rented a place and we were living in it on the fire line, that's what we could afford. And then I went on the rooftop and I created the dance and I filmed it. And I called it Skin and Bones. It's like the music. It's also called Skin and Bones. And when I did that, it was literally 3 months before I joined the army. Because I had to join the army because I graduated. So I went on the rooftop, did that dance, used my mother's phone, filmed it. And then I posted it on YouTube just because I was thinking, if I go to the army, I want people to know there was a dancer in here. I had no viewers, nothing, no one knew who I was. I just posted there. And not too long after that, I received a call from an unknown number, which was always ISIS, but this time it was a woman. I'm from the Ministry of the Media, and there is this person who's trying to get in touch with you. His name is Boli. He's a reporter, and he's from the Netherlands. And he sent you a friend request on Facebook. I'm like, how do you know that? She said, I know that. And he's waiting for your response. I'm like, okay. So I checked my Facebook and I found him and then I accepted. And then I saw all the messages. He tried to get in touch. So he said he wants to come to do a reportage about me. I was like, no, you don't want to come to Syria nowadays. And he's like, if I was there, would you work with me? I'm like, yes. So he came to Syria. He met me and he asked me, where do you want to dance? And then I told him, I want to dance in the refugee camp, in the street. He said, what? Are you crazy? You're going to kill us. ISIS is there. I said, you asked me, where do I want to dance? We can rent a studio. You can film me there or in the opera house if you get, the access. And then he took a moment and he thought about it and he's okay, let's arrange that and let's do it. We went to the camp. It was the most dangerous thing I've done. And I danced there, finished the dance. They shot at me 3 times. I kept dancing and then we left. And he said, now don't kill us, but where do you want to dance again? And then I told him, I want to dance on the theater, the ancient theater in Palmyra. And he said, no, you are really crazy. He said, why? He said, because ISIS used it to execute people on it. And I want to dance there because this theater is for dance, it's not for killing people. It was crazy. I don't know how we survived, but we did it. And he filmed that. So that went on TV in the Netherlands, and then the Dutch National Ballet, they saw it, and they created a foundation called Dance for Peace. And through that foundation, they brought me to the Netherlands, and I started working with the company. I chose to freelance more after the corona, and I developed my dance style. And here I am today dancing with Golden State Ballet in San Diego. People ask me, where are you from? I don't know what to answer. I say I was born in Syria, and they're like, are you Syrian? I'm like, no. Then how come you were born in Syria and you don't have the Syrian nationality? It's because I was born as a refugee. Because my father was born in the camp and his father was from Palestine. But my mother is a Syrian. And they're like, how come your mother is Syrian and you don't have the Syrian nationality? Because women in Syria, they can't pass their nationalities to their kids. So that's why. And guess what? I am the 3rd generation, and there is also a 4th generation now of stateless people in Syria who don't have the right of a nationality, the first right ever a person can have, the right of belonging. Hopefully, in January, I'll be in the World Economic Forum in Davos, and I will meet the new Syrian government, and I will have a request from them.
I love this. Can we do another podcast after that? I want to talk about what they say.
I would love that. I'm going to go tell them, give the people who are born on your land the right of nationality.
In your situation, because of your experiences, your work is inherently political. Even if you're doing Sleeping Beauty
Yeah,
or Nutcracker or whatever, it's like it becomes this statement.
yeah.
The artist in general, even if they don't have that kind of background, what are their roles in the time of conflict or collective difficulty?
We fight for culture and art because culture and art is very important. Like I always say, like the artist has the same duty like the soldier. We fight for culture and art in our countries because a country without culture and art is a country not worth fighting for. And I think this is enough to explain what I do and what I wish every artist would do. We are the window that people look through us as artists. And our platforms are not only ours. We represent a lot more than what we think. I was born in a refugee camp for stateless refugees in Syria. And my father is a musician and artist. He taught us, me and my brother and my sister, music, and the singing part was mine. During, let's say, the end of the year school celebration, they choose the good performances of certain schools and they bring them to the city center school in Damascus. And from the camp, that was our school, which is our performance. They liked our song. Then the other school after us was the girls' school, and they did a little piece of Swan Lake. There were like six little girls. And I was fascinated when I heard the classical music first and when I saw how they are moving with it. I was like, why am I playing music with an instrument and they are playing the music with their bodies? So I started moving like them. I thought this is only for girls, so I was like doing it secretly in my room until my mom found out. My mother's uncles from Palmyra, when we go to visit them in Palmyra, they are dervishes. So when I was a little kid, I used to see this like rituals with the drum and the whirlings, and I was fascinated, but I thought it's like more a religious situation. But growing up and seeing this, I was like imitating them with the sheets and everything. And my grandma was like, when I saw my Eurovision performance, when I showed it to my grandma, she's yeah, when you were a little kid, you used to do this with the sheets. So what's new about that? I was 16 years old when I joined the company in Syria in an dance theater. And it was based on Vaganova method from a ballet master, her name Albina Bilova. She's from Russia. So I was trained Vaganova method in Damascus, which is people don't believe nowadays. Like, really, you had a ballet company in Syria? I was like, yes. We have an opera house. We had an amazing ballet company. So I joined the company on the age 16. I know this is late, but I was already exposed to dance earlier. So I had my flexibility already. And I don't know, I was a skinny, tall little boy. So she accepted me, and I was not too long after that, I was doing soloist roles. I was always with the Russian dancers and the Ukrainian dancers. Like she would put me with them because I'm tall for a Syrian. I'm like, in American, you say 6'3".
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The first thing people say when they see me, oh, you're really tall. Like also when YouTube came to the country, I was always watching Roberto Bolle, and and he still is my role model. I love him so much. And I met him in the Dutch National Ballet and we danced together in his show. And that was an experience. I love him. He's such a beautiful person, inside and outside. Like when you meet him, you see a humble, amazing, beautiful man. And then I was imitating him the whole time, wanting to be like him. And look, I met him and I danced with him, and Sting was singing for us live. His song, Inshallah, that was a dream. I was like shaking. That's how my story with dance happened in the refugee camp, imagine. But my father didn't like that. He was against it in a wild way. Everything else about my being was okay, just the dance was not. It was insane. So he even stopped me from playing music. He broke my guitar and didn't allow me to sing or to play music anymore. He was like, or study or dance. And then I answered, or dance or die. So it started, unfortunately, with my father, not with the threats I received from ISIS. And then When the war started in Syria and my head was wanted for ISIS, I was receiving calls with threats, like people hitting me or sending me messages or posting my photos on Facebook. And it's still happening, by the way. You can still find a reportage online that happened not too long ago during filming the movie. It went on TV asking people to go get me. It's insane how, but just for being a dancer, I swear I didn't do anything bad. But that was bad enough for them because it represents freedom and that's what they are scared of. And I remember walking at night in old Damascus when I received a message of threat, of course. And then I've seen a tattoo shop. I went there and I told him to do Dance or Die on my neck. He was like, why do you want to do it in Indian? I said, because I believe in the dancing god, Lord Shiva, not in their god. Now I'm dancing with the Golden State Ballet Company in San Diego. So just finished rehearsal for Crafted for this weekend. And we're starting the Nutcracker after Crafted immediately, like with all the rehearsals and everything, and the casting and all of that. And during the Nutcracker, so on the 14th of December, I'm gonna fly back and forth to Geneva because I have a performance there for the Nansen Refugee Award. So that's an amazing opportunity also to meet like amazing people like Kate Blanchett and these people. There where I met her first was really fun. But before all of this, on 8th of November, I have the premiere of my movie, The Dancer, in San Francisco Dance Film Festival, which is amazing. I can't believe this is happening.
And
Yeah,
when did you go from Amsterdam to California?
2024.
Okay, so that was a big year.
It was a big year. It was like I left from Amsterdam to California somehow to run away from the spotlight because my life in Amsterdam, they all call me the dancer in the city. Like people expect stuff and political situations and conversations that I couldn't handle anymore. I had to leave. And then by coincidence, literally, I started with the Golden State Ballet. I actually went there just to take a class to keep in shape. I didn't plan on joining the company or anything. And then finished the class, and Raul came to me and he was like, who is this gorgeous man? I was like, hey. So I was like, oh, my name is blah, blah, and everything. So I loved about this situation that he liked my being or my dance without knowing my story. Because for the last, let's say, 9 years or 10 years since my story got viral, I felt a lot, especially in Dutch National Ballet. I felt I'm there because of my story more than because of my dance.
I love that the film is coming out, and because it's not just one story, it's what it represents for so many people. And think about the opportunities that you've had that just miraculously opened up for you. Had those opportunities not happened, you still would have been just as talented.
Yeah. The thing is, I think about it. If you think about it as well, I lived all my dreams already. And I have an amazing life that I haven't even dared to imagine that I would be living. Even today, like I was talking to one of the dancers, to Victoria, and then I was telling her about the premiere of the movie, and I was like, for a moment, look what am I talking about? Isn't that crazy? Look where I am. I'm dancing here in San Diego. I would have never ever dared to dream that I would be this person doing these things today when I was in the camp. But I always had the feeling. It was insane. My mom thought I was crazy. Like I told her, I went to the school to learn English, like a institute for English language, and I paid like a lot of money that I made with a performance after our house was bombed. So we needed every penny. And then I made some money and I spent them all on this school just to learn English. And then when I went home, my mom was like, why did you use the money for this? We need that. I'm like, because I'm gonna need to speak English. I'm gonna be an international dancer. And she's, oh God, help me with this kid. And then she was like, you were right with everything you said. But I was like, she said, I thought you were just dreaming. And I'm like, yes, I was. And here I am living my dreams. It was insane. And I appreciate my life. I am thankful and grateful every day. Every morning I wake up and just feel grateful for the peace of mind I have nowadays. because I am 35 years old. I would tell you, 34 years of my life didn't have peace of mind. Yeah, I know I left Syria 9 years ago, but I left my family in the war. I just left by myself and left them there for the uncertain situation. And only December last year we had the freedom of Syria. Still the situation uncertain. I do not like what is happening, but people there, they are happy. And that is enough for me because they live there. If they are happy, I have no right to say anything. I've been living in peace for 9 years, so I can have anything I want.
I love the idea of it. Like you're saying, here I had this opportunity, this art form opened itself to me, and now look at this magical life I have. A couple of years ago, I had this opportunity to do a residency with the Flying Carpet Festival. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
You would love them. It's an amazing organization. They bring artists from all over the world, different genres, dancers, musicians, painters, tattoo artists,
Wow.
choreographers, and they create a show and then they take it on tour and they work on the border of Turkey and Syria. So it's a
Wow.
lot of displaced, like when I went, it was a lot of kids who were displaced from the earthquakes in Turkey, and then
Yeah.
Syrian, Kurdish, Turkish, Iraqi refugee kids. And they
Yeah.
work with thousands of kids. And it's also really interesting because the show that they create is quality, like the work itself. So anyway, that tour changed my whole life. I don't think there's anything more important than bringing arts experiences and education to people, especially children, but really humans
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
wouldn't otherwise have access to it.
Yeah.
So then to do it in person on that level, like it's part of why I do my content. I'm like, let's just open the door. What can you do from where you are with what you have? You have
Yeah.
a ring light and an iPhone. What can we do?
That's how we all do it. You believe in the power of what you do, and I do too. I also work in refugee camps. So I go there, find the kids, come, let's have a dance class. I did that, and also orphanages. I went to an orphanage called Dar Budar in Morocco, 2 times actually, and I would just give them dance classes, and they just love that. They teach me a lot. They keep me young, working with children.
I agree. And that's
Uh-huh.
only the beginning. It's like bringing it back to the first part of our conversation about the whirling dervishes.
Yeah,
It is a spiritual thing. Like it takes you to your body, but also to your highest self. And it just takes you there. You're opening an inner portal that
yeah.
actually already existed. And you learn to be disciplined and like all these on the ground things. But it's this infinite number of layers.
It's a lot, especially for the people who were born and raised in the Middle East. We had dictators. Even our parents were like this. So for this little kid just to stand there and head up by being myself, the successful dancer who I am today, I am teaching the young dancers in the Middle East, yes, you can make it. Yes, we can make it. Even if you are a stateless refugee somewhere in a camp, you still can do a grand jeté if you work on yourself. You still can do a beautiful bord de bras. It doesn't matter where you were born, doesn't matter what's your nationality, doesn't matter what's your religion. Because dance knows only hard work. You need to be connected to your spirit to be a beautiful artist. It's not only technique, but still, you can reach the technique, whoever you are.
But you're not talking about whether or not you'll become famous. You're talking about the true conquering of the self, of the step, of the art form. You're like, no,
Yeah,
here and now I can do this grand jeté, which means the success is here and now in this reality. Because it's if I'm on stage at the Met or I'm just in a studio, it's still the same jeté. Like your work is the same.
this is a way of resistance because the dictators that ruled us, they hated that. And they know this is freedom. Dance is freedom for whoever you are, or any dance form, or wherever, even in the club. The most time you feel free, I think, is when you are dancing. Stateless refugees are also human beings. They can also become ballet dancers. Second of all, Arabs are not only terrorists. I have seen horrible stuff. I have seen things that I have been in therapy for since ever I moved to Europe. And I still live with the PTSD that I have. And I still choose to go to my ballet class and to perform and to bring beauty to the world. There is always a choice to be something beautiful. What I would love to live to the day where I see people in countries really competing with their culture and art more than their armies.
What's going on with the dance company or the dancers in Syria now? Are they able to work or are they
Yeah.
training?
Yeah, so now the Opera House is still there, and we have the Higher Institute for Theatrical Art. It has different departments. It's like the Juilliard Art Academy, but they are very scared nowadays. They don't know what is allowed and what is not allowed. In Syria, there are a lot of several religions, maybe things you didn't even hear about, and we all live together. And now it's like going towards extremists. I am myself very concerned. I can't go visit my family now, even though Syria is free now. But the dancers there are training, yes. I am supporting them. Sometimes, like the dance teachers, they call me and ask me about movements, for example, the flick flag or these kind of things. How do we teach that? How do we do it? And then I, of course, explain it because I did my studies in the Dutch National Ballet Academy. And I had my ballet teaching degree, which is great. I have my notebooks right now here. I'm looking at them. I wrote all my notes in Arabic because I wanted to create like something like a notebook that can exist in Arabic for ballet movements so they can read it and understand what is it.
What are the big differences artistically in the way the dancers work and even the way they perform that you noticed?
I think since I was dancing back in Syria, the director of the company would tell us what is happening backstage, you will bring it with you on stage. And that was like always in my mind that do not, if you're tired, don't say out loud, "Oh, I'm tired," then you will let other people also feel down or whatever. So what I found different that working in Golden State Ballet specifically, I think it is very friendly environment and very comfortable. You go to class, you feel comfortable already. And then you do the class and you need something, everyone will help you to get it. And yeah, I don't know, this friendly environment shows on stage. Like, for example, for me, I didn't learn partnering on point in my career, which is weird because, like, in the Syria, I did partnering with all the lifts. I'm very good with lifting, but like keeping the girl on the point, on her point, was for me like something I needed to learn here. But then all the dancers who were dancing with me were giving me all the tips, teaching me. It's not the ballet master who needed to teach me. For example, when I was in Dutch National Ballet, if I need to tell my dance partner something, it has to go through the ballet master. So I can't tell her, for example, whatever feedback I want to give should go through the teacher because diva situation. So that I found very different between communicating with the dancers. And technically, I don't know, I feel here I can grow more. I'm learning a lot. I have space within my own body. I feel better. I feel I'm growing as a dancer. I feel I'm improving. Every day something new.
I think at least a part of the story is connected to the history of the academies. It's in Europe, there's this very organized system to becoming a professional ballet dancer. It's you go from one rank to another, you
Yeah.
graduate from the academies. The path is very clear, which, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but in the US, it's like the Wild West. Like dance is not regulated here. Like no professional dancer in the largest companies like San Francisco Ballet, American Ballet Theater, New York City Ballet, you know the list, that
Hmm.
list. None of them have dance degrees because it's not a regulated
Really?
zero.
Oh my
Because
God, that's a new information for me. Amazing.
well,
Okay.
but it's not that they don't have the same information or education, but it's not regulated here. So it's like when, let's say you get into New York City Ballet when you're 17 years old, you just finished high school and they don't recognize the dance education.
As education, like a proper education or whatever.
Here it's, you've really got to love it because
Hard,
it's hard.
hard, yes. Here it's hard, yes. I can say that.
What are your dreams for the future, for your artistic work, for anything really?
Yeah, nowadays I am part of the World Economic Forum as a young global leader and a cultural leader. I didn't know what is that, to be honest, when they chose me. I'm like, why? They're like, you meet all the leaders of the world. I'm like, do I want to? So I did the opening for the Davos Forum once. I performed with Yo-Yo Ma. He was on the cello. And then I did another dance project with them as well. And then I got to meet, let's say, the head of the cultural and art, Joseph. He became a friend to me, a dear friend, and he changed my mind about this stuff. He was also a dancer. He's an ex-dancer. He made me change the way I see the leaders of the world, like the CEO of something and the minister of something, and I'm just the dancer. And they liked my being around them. And then, of course, I brought to them all the stories about the refugees and the LGBTQ plus community and about the culture and art in certain countries. And these kind of conversations happened. And I could open their minds into supporting the subsidies for their cultural sectors in their countries, which I was surprised that the American cultural sector, which let's put it more plain, like ballet companies are not subsidized enough or sometimes none. It's all about funding from donations. And I was surprised. My biggest dream has forever been creating a ballet company in Syria, like a proper ballet, classical ballet company. We had a ballet company in Syria before the war, but then it's vanished. Like all the dancers are refugees in Europe and Canada and different places. And only this year, the director of the company came back to Syria trying to bring the company back. But where are the dancers? We're like 10 years since we left. We need to recreate or start a new base for ballet in Syria. We have all the things. We have funding for culture in Syria much better than even in the Netherlands or in America.
Wow, I wouldn't
Believe
have
it or
guessed
not.
that.
Yeah, yeah, believe it or not. And we have so many theaters as well. And they can just let you, like, yeah, go use the building, whatever. What do you need? This amount of money every month? Here you go. It's insane. It's that easy. I did choreograph a lot of shows and I got funding from the Minister of Culture when I was back then in Syria. Huh? And I brought all the dancers, like from the institute or from other companies who want to work with me. And here, we have all the money. What can we create? Let's do it. So it was very easy. I have a lot of ideas, but my main dream is to create a ballet, a national ballet in Syria. I really hope someday I will be able to do this when I can still stand and dance and not when I'm an old man sitting on a chair watching that. But I see it happening.
If you could send a message back to your younger self dancing in Damascus, what would you say?
I would say, no, you are not crazy. All of this will happen. Just keep believing in yourself. Yeah. Because I swear I have felt all of this when I was little. I knew it's gonna happen. I did believe, yes. I just needed everyone else to believe me. They could not. They could not. But now they do.
How can we learn more about your work? And is there something that people can do to support your work or get behind the issues that are close to your heart and your experience?
To learn more about my work, you can see my website and my social media. I always post. I'm always active about posting what I'm doing next and what I'm doing now and all of this. So my social media is there. Mostly, if you want to support, you can find the ways on my website, ahmadjoudeh.com. There's a link to the foundation if somebody wants to donate. And what I would like people to know or to do to support my work, just be nice to each other. Just that. If you see some immigrant or something, just think of why are they here. Think of the story that made them leave. Everyone has their own war. Every one of us, we have our own wars every day. Let's live with empathy more. Yeah.
Ahmad, thank you. I'm so inspired by you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy we got to do this.
If you like this and you want more incredible dance content, join us on the Dance Lens free Substack for articles, videos, reviews, podcasts, and more. We also have monthly live deep dives for subscribers where you can hear directly from the artists and bring your questions about the art form and the work. Find the Substack in the link in the profile. Thanks for listening. I'm Cynthia Dragoni, The Dance Lens.